Welcome back to another episode of Shizoda and Friends podcast. My name is Shizoda, and today we're interviewing my friend Jonathan Raysor. Jonathan Raysor is a Brooklyn College alum who studied computer science, entered Citi Bank, doing quant trading, quant analysis, and mortgages, and then recently transitioned around December to chain analysis, invested in cryptocurrencies and Web3. We're going to talk about NFTs. We have talked about, you will hear about NFTs, Web3. We're also going to talk about what it means to be a good engineer. He's almost had 2 years in the industry at this point. And we also touch on topics such as hobbies, mental health, mentorship, books, and I hope you enjoy. Before you go, there's 2 things I want to really say about the podcast. First off, this is episode 9 or 10. I think it's episode 9, but it's also been 10 months of me working on the podcast, and it has been absolutely incredible, and I will continue to do it so, but it will not be video anymore because 1, it's a lot of work, and 2, it takes up storage and space, and it's just a little too much friction, and there's honestly no reason for there to be an audio component, so we're moving this podcast fully to audio. Please stay in touch on there's no one else really. Please stay in touch on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I will probably be putting it up on a few other platforms like SoundCloud and smaller ones too. So yeah, make sure you stay subscribed on those, but I might do something else with YouTube. Maybe we'll see. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that I have had a lot of fun, and I'm very grateful that there are people who watch it. So thanks for being a part of this, and make sure you subscribe and like and comment and join our Discord space and join the mailing list, because I love writing a little newsletter every single month and sending it out to everyone. But yeah, stay in touch. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for being here. Jonathan Raysor, thanks for being here. How are you doing?
Everything's good. How are you?
Not bad. How was your weekend?
It's been a quiet weekend. Now it's raining. It's gloomy outside, so it's nice.
Yeah, I know for New York City, the days are getting longer too, which must be so nice.
Yeah, it's getting longer days, sunlight. You can actually see the sunset after work, which is nice. Like sitting here looking out the window looks cool.
You recently started at Chain Analysis. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I was before that I was at Citi Bank. I was doing software engineering as well on like e-trading team and mortgage team, and then I switched over to Chain Analysis just over general interest in like the crypto industry and the crypto world, and it just seemed like a more secure company to start at and nice place to learn a lot, which I am doing, especially coming from like a bank environment. There's so much more to learn.
Yeah. So what are the 2 cultures like, Citibank and I'm guessing a smaller to mid-sized company, Chain Analysis, a startup culture?
I will say some things are really similar, which was quite a surprise. But I would say Chain Analysis they both had great training programs, and I got a lot more than I expected when I joined Chain Analysis, which was nice and very structured environment. You forget it's a startup. I forget it's a startup. Still like the startup culture, which is nice. It's fun. But when it comes to workload is nice too, but when it comes to overall environment, it feels really structured and really well thought out compared to what I've heard about startups before. So it's nice. Yeah.
What were some things you had heard before that you were surprised to figure out were not true?
Probably the organization of things and just like overall structure throughout the company. And here I haven't noticed any of those flaws or any of those. It's been an overall nice experience. Very structured. That's probably the word of the day, structured.
One of my conceptions about startups is that you generally tend to work a lot more. Would you say that's true?
I would say it's a fair workload. Of course, there's more things to learn and more things to take responsibility for because it's a smaller company at the end of the day. But the workload, if anything, has been beneficial towards my development as an engineer.
Okay, so what were the technologies you were working on in Citibank, and what are you working on now in Chain Analysis?
At Citibank, it was more like just straight Java backend development. Here, it's still some backend development, but at the same time, I'm using more like services like AWS, and that's something I never used before, and just overall Kubernetes environment. So that's been cool to learn. And at first it's a little scary, I would say, because you're coming from an environment you don't really know these things, and you're like, all right, let me make sure I'm up to pace with everybody else. But once I started like just diving into it and just taking the responsibility, asking questions, it's really changed. So it's been nice.
How many weeks or months has it been for chain analysis?
I think I joined in December, so what does that make? About 4 months now. Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice.
How does it feel as compared to when you were first joining?
I would say I'm not way more comfortable, but I'm more comfortable and more you gain confidence each day. So getting more of that. So it's pretty nice. At first, when I started, I was a little scared, but I think that's natural with any job. Like when you started your job, I'm sure you like had your little butterflies or whatever. But it's been nice.
I've had butterflies. Speaking of butterflies, I love your sweater.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
It was a gift from a good friend, so I love it. It's really cool. Little butterflies. I didn't realize that. It all ties together.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, the sweater is beautiful, and I feel like overall you have a very good sense of style, right?
I try.
Yeah.
Well, like I've always had if I had to have a hobby, because I think we should all have a hobby, especially with work. Probably more clothing, but I want to get more into constructing my own clothes. This is an expensive hobby to have.
Yeah.
Like I've never tried it. This is very theoretical. I haven't tried it. I would love to try it, and I always want to get a sewing machine, so maybe I'll do that. Use that as a hobby.
Yeah, that would be cool. You can probably start with just fixing up shirts or customizing them, and then sewing machines aren't too expensive. I think the Singer machines. I've had one before. It was $70.
Yeah, it's not bad. See, it's not bad for a hobby, and thread the thread and all that stuff is cheap too. So
yeah. What kind of stuff would you like to do with clothing?
Probably, honestly, I always struggle to find pants. So something to do with pants. I don't know why. Because I feel like I have an awkward stature. Like I'm not 6 feet, but I'm also not 5'2". So it's that mid-range nowadays with clothes, it just doesn't work out. So.
How do you think your style has changed throughout the years? And when did you really start focusing on clothing and style and self-expression?
Honestly, I always thought clothing was cool, but I think before it was more built around hype or what I saw the people wearing. Now I just started wearing very plain clothes. This hoodie's probably one of the most bold colors I have, and I wouldn't wear this every day. But definitely, actually, it's funny getting into the tech industry. I think people become way more simplistic or minimalist when it comes to their outfits. So that kind of brushed off onto me too. You just want to wear something that you can just wake up in the morning and throw it on and call it a day. So I've gotten more into that and more sustainable stuff too.
Ooh, what do you mean by more sustainable?
Secondhand stuff, as well as being wise of where things are produced or where I'm buying from. So I used to buy a lot of nothing against the company, a lot of Nike stuff and very big producers. Over time, I realized sometimes you may pay a little bit more money for a pair of sneakers, but it's made properly. It's gonna last probably a few years versus a year or so. So that's been nice.
Okay, I have to ask, what are some of your favorite brands?
Favorite brands that I've been into,
or at least most recently. Yeah, maybe not all time.
I recently got back into raw denim, so I got a pair of APCs, so that was cool. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I don't know what raw denim means. I don't know what APC means. That could have been the brand for all I know.
Raw denim's the type of denim. So.
Okay.
But it's an investment type of. I look at it as an investment because, they're fairly priced for jeans, but they last you at least 5-6 years. So it's get one jean. I haven't bought jeans since college, probably junior year, and then just 2 months ago I bought a pair of jeans, which was nice. So.
How big is your closet?
My closet?
Because if you're buying stuff that lasts this long, it's probably not huge.
Exactly. I only have one. Actually, I just moved here. I only have one closet, so I had to make everything fit. And actually, I'll send you a picture. It's dope. It's pretty
Hell
cool.
Yeah. And you said it's really important for us to have hobbies.
Yes. I think that's really important because you don't want to get consumed by our work and don't want to get consumed by everything we have going on in life, especially although I will say in the tech industry we have it better Like it's like I feel like this is a known thing. It's a different work style compared to like traditional work, and we have a lot more leniency. It's just a matter of like getting your stuff done for the most part. So taking advantage of that, but there are days or are situations where people get consumed by their work. So having a hobby to kind of like deflect with will definitely improve the situation. For me, it's probably, I mentioned clothing, but not look in my room, probably music. Like, I love to listen to music. Yeah.
I was gonna ask that next because I remember recently I saw the swimming album, and it was actual live vinyl, right?
Right there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's oh no, that's not swimming. That's what's the name of that
Circles.
album? Circles, yes.
Yeah, it was one or the other. Those
Swimming's
were like my
at
two
home.
favorite Mac Miller albums.
Yeah, I love those albums. Yeah, but probably music is a big thing for me. Even when I'm working, actually, as of recently, I've been listening more to podcasts, which is funny. That's what we're doing right now. But music and just discovering old music. I had to switch from Apple Music to Spotify.
Welcome.
Just for the recommendations. Like, I need some better recommendations. I would love to switch back. Only reason I want to go back to Apple Music is because I have a HomePod and it just works better with that. It was a gift. And like I want to use the HomePod, but Spotify, they haven't updated for AirPlay too, so I gotta do that. So that's a rant for another time.
Yeah, music and fashion and science. What a beautiful combo. I love that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I would love to incorporate all three. Maybe I could figure out a way to not even monetize, because I don't think everything needs to be monetized, but something fun to do. Those three things would be nice.
Yeah, I know we're also both moving in around the same timeline. Are you excited to design your place? Is this your first place, like for yourself?
Yeah, it is. But I moved in. I got the apartment probably like a month ago. So over that time, I was just getting stuff. So I'm at the point where I'm almost done. I just need like a table and some chairs to eat at.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay,
It's
so you're
fun.
almost done
It's fun.
decorating the place or setting it up fully.
I say so. Yeah. The office is probably my favorite spot. So
Really?
This room is done. Yeah. Because I spend most of my time here, so this room had to get done.
My bedroom is my favorite spot. I love like the warm duvet, the bed. I went all in on a bed. I don't want to talk about it. It's bad. I spent so much money.
As long as you're comfortable, I think that's an investment. So
yeah,
your sleep is the most important thing.
yeah. Oh yes, and it's supposed to last 25 years. Okay, and like
then you'll be fine.
that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, what's the point of money if we can't spend it on stuff like sleeping and eating and living?
Exactly. What are you putting in so much hard work? I know you work hard, so what is all that for if you can't get yourself a nice bed? It's a bare minimum you could do for yourself.
Agreed.
Get a nice bed.
Yeah, I love that we just went from like crypto analysis and crypto coins into this place.
Yeah, nice little divergence, you know.
Yeah, we haven't talked in like a really long time. What's been going on? How's life for you, John? How's it going?
I think we had algorithms together.
Yeah, I think so.
That
was like way before what's it called? The pandemic, yeah, before we were all on lockdown.
That was like a year before. Oh my god.
Yeah.
How long is that? 3 years?
3
years.
I think.
3 going on 4.
We could have gotten another major at that point. Like that's
Yeah,
a whole degree.
That's true. We could have done my master's at that point. But everything's been good. Been focusing way more on work and just figuring out myself. I always forget we're so young. I don't know if you notice that when you go to work or sometimes like people on your team, you don't realize you're so young. And it's a matter of like slowing down a little bit and just enjoying. There's a lot going on, I feel like, in everybody's lives, especially what happened with the pandemic, that we haven't taken a second to slow down and like count our blessings or slow down and just enjoy what you have and just go for a walk some days, you know? Like if the sun's shining on me, I'm like, after this I'm gonna go for a walk. Just enjoy it. Why not?
Yeah, I don't think I've been doing a good job with that either. There's always something to do, something to focus on, like
Exactly.
It's like the world can be beautiful and you'll still find that one part that you're like fixating on and being like, I could fix this needs to be better.
A big thing really is trying to reduce that noise, just like from life in general. Like when I moved, I was like, oh, should I get a TV for my room? I always had a TV in my room growing up. I was like, you know what? No TV. It's just literally my bed, a lamp, and that's it.
Yeah. I'm also like not doing the TV, but I might do a projector and speakers. I want like a really good speaker setup with like a little bass or bass, whatever it's called.
Yeah, when you play good music, like there's nothing better than that.
Exactly.
I think you should get a projector because a projector, it's not as passive as a TV. Like a TV, yeah, projector, you have to set it up, you hook up your computer or your phone or whatever. Like there's like an art to that, you know.
Yeah.
It's not just like click.
Like TVs take up such large spaces, and it's like I don't know, it's just too big. And projector is nice and neat. Plus, you can put like anything on, you know, like anything, like even just squiggles and for vibes.
Yeah, play some games with your friends. It's overall nice. Yeah. Are you enjoying your San Jose?
For San Francisco, I love San Francisco. There's a lot of really interesting differences and similarities compared to New York, Brooklyn specifically, because I've always been like a Brooklyn girl. The houses here, so much prettier. Like it's like the cutest little townhouses, pink, orange, blue, brown, black. Yeah. You've ever seen an all black house with arches? Like the most gothic. I love that. Like I've never been
that is
somebody.
Really cool.
I've never
it's
been somebody.
Like walking through Park Slope, right?
Yeah, but Park Slope is all like these beautiful red bricks, and these are colorful and whimsical, and very old school. Like I've always imagined the South to be like this.
That's true.
The weather is nicer here. There's not as many flies or rats. And there's a lot of different types of trees and flowers. Like the nature here is incredible. But the price is super expensive, like way more than I would have expected. The food is mid. It's like besides the tacos and Mexican food, it's okay. Like I haven't had really great.
Good food in San Francisco. It was Chinese food.
Right, you've been here before.
I've been like 2
for friend trips. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, never for work or anything, but I had the greatest Chinese food. I forgot the name of it. I'll send it to you.
Did you have tacos?
I had tacos in San Jose.
Okay. I don't know how the tacos in San Jose is.
I had tacos San Diego. I don't know why I said San Jose. That was serious.
Yeah.
That was
some good tacos.
Yeah.
I've never like really been super into Mexican food, but oh my god, game changer.
I got carne asada fries. I remember that.
I think I got al pastor. I hope I'm not like butchering
I'm
this
hungry.
now.
I'm hungry right now, so this is not easy.
Oh, sorry. We're only 15 minutes in, so stay strong.
No, we're good.
But yeah, West Coast is beautiful in its own way. Super windy, and the hills are ridiculous. Like like these freaking quads and calves are gonna be bongers by the time I'm back in New York.
Do you want to drive?
Parking here is not easy, and you have to pay extra for permits. Also, I don't have my license, so I'd have to like drive illegally or get my license first.
Do you see yourself? I know I'm like flipping the conversation onto you, but it's
fine.
You see yourself staying in San Francisco, or you like New York?
That's a really good question. My family's in New York. All my like really close, like best friends, people I actually absolutely love and adore in New York. So I wouldn't go.
Right.
I would never like fully leave New York, and I'll always have roots to go back to. But I've always imagined my life more adventurous, where I'd be in different parts of the world for multiple years at a time and really get immersed. Because the world is just so large.
Yeah.
I'm not staying in one
place
forever.
That's another thing I picked up on. Yeah, that's something I picked up on, just like exposing myself to different cultures and stuff. It's important.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, I feel like you also have a very diverse set of friends.
I will say that's one thing I'm grateful for. I do, and I always like mention that. I'm very it's exposed me to so much, a lot of opportunity. I know you had Chuma on here before.
Yes, I adore Chuma.
If I never met him, I always say if I didn't meet him, I probably wouldn't be as far as I am today, because it's just the meeting these friends, especially in school. He presented with different opportunities, like he helped me get an internship, and then from there you just progress. So having that diverse and friends of all backgrounds, definitely that's probably the biggest help of everything that I've had in my life. always accredit that, especially Chuma. I always accredit that.
What's the what exactly was the story behind Chuma helping you with an internship?
He helped me get an internship. I remember summer. When did we? That was 2019. 2019. I interned at MasterCard, and he had interned the previous year and had his connections, whatever. So he like put me in contact with the recruiter, helped me set that whole thing up. Yeah, and then I'm getting the same internship, and then from there we went to some events together, got some interviews. Like, really helped me out. Kind of like made me step outside my comfort zone.
Yeah, Chuma also, like, while we're praising Chuma here, Chuma is also the reason that we got Etsy as a sponsor, because he was like putting his connections to work. He's also been a mentor for a few other clubs on campus. So computer science club was one of them, but there was also other clubs he was just like very active in, even like after he graduated.
Extremely social.
Yeah, it's super productive. Like, now he's writing articles. I think we both looked at the same article on LinkedIn about his time at Etsy. Yeah.
He's outstanding for his age too. Oh my god.
Yeah, huge mentor for me too. Do you have any other mentors?
I would say my coworkers. Like, I feed a lot off of them, but like mentor that I look to. I have someone from Citi that I was in, like, that I looked up to after a while. Like, I worked with him as a senior engineer. He taught me a lot, so still to this day I try to like keep in contact with him, learn more, and just talk. Yeah, I think I learn the most from just having genuine conversation with people, and things just come up. So that's been nice.
Do you find working and like socializing in work comfortable? Are you just like chilling and vibing with everyone?
It's definitely gotten harder since then. Like, I went into the office the other day for the first time on Thursday, and it was weird to go and say hi to someone that I've been talking to on the call for like 4 months. It's like, how do I approach you? You know, like, that's weird. But other than that, I think virtually, at least, it's very, very easy, very like just natural to talk to people. But in person, that's when it's weird, which is the weird thing. It should be the opposite way. Yeah, it's kind of scary, but I think we're warming up to it.
You also started work during the pandemic, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so your sense of normal is online at this point when it comes to coworking.
It's terrible. Like, it's a little depressing. I don't like it. Like, it's fun to work from home and all that type of stuff. Like, it's cool. You kind of just have like that relaxed environment. And you get, like, I'm used to this desk or whatever, but I feel like in-person interaction does a lot for your mental health, and we don't have much of that anymore. It's kind of scary. No,
it's definitely a little dystopian. Yeah. To be weirded out by seeing people in real life and be like, oh shit.
Like, you have one idea of how tall they are or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you see them in person, like, oh, that's you. Like, it's so weird. So weird.
What do you think makes so how many years has it been since you've been in the industry, both Citi and chain analysis?
This is going to be the second year. Well, 2020, this is 2022, yeah. So August will make 2
full years. Okay. Yeah. What do you think are misconceptions or like ideas you had about the industry before going in that kind of proved to be wrong now that you've been in it? I think the
misconception is that everybody knows everything. And everybody's a super, super genius. I don't think it's that. I think I was speaking to my coworker about this. You have to be good at learning rather than just knowing everything. I used to get intimidated going into a meeting or going into something like, dang, I don't know half the things they're talking about. And then you talk to them, and then they ask you questions about things they don't know. And it's like, all right, I'm not as dumb as I may have thought. Or I'm not as behind as I may have thought. We just know different things. We have different experiences, different backgrounds. So once I'm able to like fully accept that, things get a lot easier, because you just, all right, I don't know this. I'm not scared of it. Just got to learn it. And then you just take the steps to learn what you got to learn. So that's nice.
What do you think makes learning easy for you? Do you have a specific learning style or a strategy when it comes to learning new things?
I would definitely say it's easy. I think what I've been practicing lately is just like telling myself, all right, you just got to learn something new. And just like following through with that and just trying to learn something new every day. If something pops up, it's not impossible to do because somebody else can do it within the company or on the team. So therefore, I can learn it the same way they did.
Oh, reach. We're just gonna clip that part out and just put like really motivational music, Rocky Balboa style.
Yeah, that's something I really had to come to terms with. Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Nah. Is it me? I don't think it's me. I still have everything recording, so you could probably just edit this out. Oh wait, hold on. I think it says you're muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you pressed
I pressed the button.
Nah, I do that by accident sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, like how often do you have to remind yourself that like it doesn't come supernaturally and you're always gonna have to learn, and it's not necessarily gonna be easy but still worthwhile?
Right now, I'm actually reminding myself of that every day. It's kind of like conditioning yourself because, like I said, we're super young. I'm 23, so turning 24, and that's really young to. Like, you're in your career, and that's weird to think about. Like you're in your career, at like you started everything. Like, it's no. Well, you can always switch or do whatever you want, but right now it's like you're in your career, so it's like every day I wake up or every day I start work, I'm just like, all right, this is work. Still getting used to that. It's funny though. It's a nice transition, nice like everyday thing to do.
Do you have a daily ritual before work or after work?
I have to eat breakfast. I love to eat breakfast, and after work when the weather's nice, I love to go for a run.
Oh,
like, the season's coming back for running. So.
Oh, you're a runner?
I love running. Yeah, I try to do like 3 miles a day, and then I'm happy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How are your knees?
It sounds much cooler. That's the problem. I've had to take like a month off before. It wasn't my knee, it was my Achilles. Like,
oh
and
god.
That's a terrible thing to like rupture or whatever. So I was like, let me chill for like a month. But I love running. I think cardio is very important for all of us. So working out.
Yeah, I hate running so much. I've tried a few times, and the only time I've been good at running is, it doesn't last very long. It's not a sustainable thing for me.
You know how long it took me to do a mile? Like, I understand that. It took me a while to get a mile down.
How long?
A while. I was always able to do like 700 yards, and then past 700 I would just die. Now, like, I can hit a mile easy and then get to my 3 and stop.
How long
like
have you been running?
5K a day. Probably since the pandemic, probably 2020, August, July-ish time. Whenever the weather's nice, I just go for a run. I love it. Yeah.
Was that because of the pandemic or just having more time because of college?
I wanted to lose. I remember I went to the doctor and she told me how much I weighed. I was like, I want to lose a little bit of weight. So I was like, let me start working out. And then I started running. And then I realized, like, mentally, it's a great way to just, like, escape. Because you only focus on your breathing if you have music. And that's it. And you just run. And you can just think clearly. Just let your thoughts flow. Because you can't really cut it out as you're running because you're so focused on that breathing. So everything just flows. And that's something I struggle with sometimes. It's just like letting my thoughts do their own thing rather than trying to control every little aspect of my life. So, like, the running is like I can't control that. Like, either I'm gonna do it or I'm not. So,
that is so very zen.
It's. I wish I could like live by that 24/7, but when I run, that's how it is.
No, I love that. It's ideals we work towards, like even if it doesn't, if we can't stick to them every single day, it's what we're constantly working towards.
Yeah, as long as you start it, I guess. At least like a minute. I was talking about something with my friend, and we were looking at like these habit forming videos of trying to form good habits. If you do it at least for like a minute a day, or at least 1% a day. If I didn't run 3 miles and you run 0.3 miles, like you still did something. So you could just lay in bed instead. At least you got up and tried, So that's what I've been working on.
Man, I have a few questions I want to dive into. But first I want to say running feels almost meditative for you. It's just a place to just be mindful and calm.
Yeah. That's my meditation.
Have you noticed any other differences in your health, your biology, your mind, in different parts of your life? Yeah, as you started running more and more consistently.
I was able to regulate my emotions more, actually. It's just because you get, at least for me, when I'm running, it's so peaceful. Like, you just get that zen. So, like, that kind of, like, if I'm had a long day at work and I'm out, like, you know, working from home for your lunch break, instead of getting food, you could just go for a run. So I'll go for a run and then come back and just, I would shower. If I didn't have time, I'll shower after work, but I'll just sit there, like, on a stool, not in my, like, chair, because that's fabric, and I'm sweaty, so I'll just sit on the stool, and then, like, I could work much easier. Everything just flows, because, like, your body's relaxed, you're tired, in a sense, but not, like, a sleepy tired, just, like, I did something tired, so that's nice. And then sleep, too, it helps with my sleep, because your body's done, so it's, like, it's really, really nice for that.
One of the things I think that makes running attractive to a lot of people is, like, of course, like the physical benefits, you know, being leaner and stronger and more resilient, but also the runner's high. And for me personally, one thing that makes me want to run is, like, being able to have longer focuses. Have you noticed those two things?
Yeah, the runner's high is serious. I remember one day, it's like crack. I remember one day I was running and I looked down on my watch. It's like, 3 miles. I'm like, damn, it felt like a mile. So I just kept on running. Next thing you know, I looked down and it says 8. I was like, oh, wow. But you just, like, and you're not tired. It's like you just want to keep on going, but the sun started to go down. I was like, all right, let me get home. But you don't want to stop. It's just one of those things.
Wow.
And that really, it's like a high. Like, you just keep on going, don't notice anything. You'll feel it the next day, but it's so nice. Yeah.
So what happened with your Achilles?
I think it was my form, and then I couldn't run. Like, anytime I would start running like less than a mile, my right Achilles is just extremely sore, and that's not something I really want to mess around with. So I had to take that break. Even during that break, like, I noticed the difference where you just get more irritable and stuff like that. So
yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it in this podcast. I know I definitely haven't told you, but during the pandemic, I also started working out because I had more time and I wanted to build small habits, so you have, like, something to, like, be like, oh, today's been a day, you know, like, oh, that's one thing one day. I guess, like, a sense of normalcy. And I did it for 8 months without really liking it. Like, before the internship, it was almost every single day. During the internship, it was, like, every other day or 3 times a week or something like that. And then I stopped. I was like, this is not helping. I'm supposed to like working out by now, and it's been 8 months, and I don't like it. And I stopped for 3 months, and then I noticed that my emotions are a lot more sporadic, up and down, up and down. A lot of the highs are higher, the lows are lower. And then I think the average happiness for me was much lower than it was when I was, like, consistently working out.
I never thought about it that way because, like, recently I haven't been working out, so I'm like, because the whole moving thing and all that type of stuff.
Felt
and I'm waiting for the gym to be done. And my emotions, like you said, the highs are really high, the lows are really low, and probably can attribute it to that. Just that lack of consistency, that lack of motivation to work out some days. So.
Yeah. I've also been trying to learn how to eat. Like, I don't think I know, like, what you're supposed to eat. You know, everyone says, like, you know, eat veggies, okay, and then protein, but, like, okay, I think carbs are bad. Like, I don't think I actually know how to eat properly.
I couldn't understand that. Me, I love to go out to eat, which is bad, so I've been cutting back on that completely. So when I cook, it's either, I love to cook. That's another thing. I love cooking. But
word on the street is your mac and cheese is like groundbreaking scientific stuff. Yeah.
It's been well crafted over the years, but yeah, I love to cook. I'm a big steak person. I don't know if you're into steak. If you eat red meat or anything, you have to have a nice steak. I think at least once a month, just have a nice steak. You'll be at peace. It'll put you to sleep.
Oh man. Okay, wait. Let's go back to engineering. Learning was one of the things you said that makes an engineer really good. What other attributes have you found yourself being like, this is what a good engineer does, this is what I need to be building, this is where I want to go towards?
Confidence and communication.
Ooh, confidence. That's the first time I've heard confidence.
That. And I wouldn't even say I'm the most confident person myself, but the best engineers that I've met so far in my short 2 years. We've all been confident in what they're saying, not cocky, but confident in what they're saying, and okay with criticism. And there's three things: confidence, not cockiness, social skills, and willing to learn. The smartest people that I'm thinking of, like, just popping in my head, they're all confident when they had technical statements or when they're talking about something technical. Even if they may have been wrong, they still had the confidence when they thought of their idea, and they were able to communicate those things well and give you examples. And then if they were wrong, we're able to figure it out and do some research and learn. So a combination of those three things, I think you're unstoppable.
I love that, because willingness to learn is essentially being humble and knowing that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
But confidence that you put in the work and that you know what you're presenting.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you
it's
think...
like a...
Sorry, go ahead.
It's a correlation. They're evenly correlated. So you have your confidence, and at the same time you're learning, they go together. If you're confident that you learned something, then your confidence goes up and all that type of stuff.
Do you consider yourself a confident person?
I'm getting there. I think it's something, not even just the engineering field, just like overall personality-wise, I was never too confident. But as like I learned myself and I learned how I learn, then you just naturally become more confident.
Do you think confidence is like something that causes the better engineer, or something that just is like a byproduct?
I think it's a byproduct, because I think confidence is not something you explicitly try to show. It just naturally comes out. If you're actually confident, it will naturally come out. You can tell when someone's trying to come off as confident versus actually being confident in what they're saying. So the more confident you are, the naturally, like, it's a byproduct of just becoming a better engineer. Yeah.
So willingness to learn and social skills will maybe eventually make you more confident.
Yeah. Because they both come with positive outcomes. So.
Yeah. What I feel like there's... What do you mean by social skills? Like, how would you break that down? Someone who's trying to figure out for themselves, like, do I have good social skills? What part of social skills, whether it's small talking or asking questions, should be building?
I think engineering, the huge thing is teamwork, and people like underestimate that. It may be like perceived, like on TikTok, like you see a bunch of TikToks and stuff about like engineering just being like all about one person and you just learn these skills and you'll be good. It has a lot to do with your team, and it has a lot to do with the people you're working with on a product. So being able to communicate with them and have normal conversations and just talk about anything, sometimes stuff other than work, talk about a video game, talk about a show you're watching, build that rapport between each other and relationships. The working together becomes a lot easier. Sometimes you can go overboard, but for the most part, working together, it just becomes normal.
I think this is the first real non-small talk conversation we've had, and I'm mind blown of like how much depth and like wisdom there is to you.
Oh, that's a compliment.
that's
I've never said that.
Yeah, I don't think, because in algorithms and some club stuff is probably the only thing we've done, and it was always like, like good small talk. Yeah, like fun conversations.
I think part of me being able to say these things or be at terms with these things, a lot to do with the pandemic and having a lot of time to think and like reflect on myself. I actually got COVID back on Christmas time, so I had like 10 days in my room, and I learned a lot about myself. You come to terms with yourself, and you come to terms with a lot of things about your life and why things are the way they are, like family wise, anything in general, and coming to terms with that really humbles you and makes you realize what works for you, what doesn't work for you.
Do you think you'll just like lock yourself up for 10 days every once in a while?
Maybe every year on the year.
Make it a new season, a new holiday.
Yeah, Jonathan time. Self-reflection.
I feel like I have to push you more on that question about being a better engineer. So far, the only real technical thing you've said is being willingness to learn.
Oh, you want more technical things that you could do?
Yeah.
I've never done much side projects, but the times that I have done side projects, that was a huge like benefit. But I've done more like I think it's still on my resume. It was like I was into clothing in high school and like early college. So
you were interning at high school?
No, I was into clothing.
Oh, into clothing.
I wish I was into it. That was sick. And then I built like a little like Supreme bot to try and get myself some clothes. And like little side projects that connect to the things you like, I feel like are very important because you're more passionate about it. Like for Chuma, for example, like he works on stuff that he's more passionate about, and I think that helps him just improve his engineering overall by spending time. Like you're spending your time on your hobby at the same time you're learning something new. So,
Practice is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, practice makes perfect.
Exactly. What do you think about the maybe dichotomy is the right word here? What do you think about the dichotomy between passion and discipline? How do those two intertwine and coexist?
I think they're very close to each other, but you have to be kind to yourself when it comes to the discipline side. Like you could be passionate about something and have the discipline at the same time, but you also have to be kind to yourself that some days you're just not going to want to do it. Like people in 24/7, you have to do this all day, every day, which actually I think it's been mostly proven. A lot of jobs are seeing that now, especially in the tech industry. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have quality work if you're putting 1 million hours into one thing without giving yourself a break. Like a mental break is good, some time away. I think that's actually more important than the time you spend doing the work. Is what you do when you're not doing work. Something I've seen, I had a problem with this is like you end work and you'll still be stuck on work mentally. Like you end work at 6-7 o'clock and then you go and now it's time to rest, but when you're resting you have anxiety about what you need to do for work the next day or what you didn't finish. And then so when you go to work now you don't have a fresh mind. You're just still in that same level of stress. So how are you really supposed to be productive and learn anything? And that's something I struggled with until I was able to like, all right, now I'm done with work, let me walk out of the room, do something else and not think about work. So now when you come tomorrow, you're fresh and you don't have all these ideas you built up in your head about how you can't do something or that you won't know how to do something.
Work when it's time to work and relax when it's time to relax.
Yeah. I think the smartest people do that too. At least like with your select few, like your select exceptions, the stories we hear about like Steve Jobs and all these type of innovators, they never really took a break. It was just work. But a lot of, I don't want to say realistic because all that stuff is realistic and anybody can accomplish that. But a lot of the people I've met career-wise, like I told you, the people I look up to, when they want to relax, they're able to tune out of work and just have fun and not think about work. That's important. And the smartest people I've met are able to do that. Even if it's like playing video games, they're not thinking about work. There's not one thought of work on their mind. They're just enjoying their game because work is work. And your hobby as well, depending if that's your hobby. Like, another misconception I think in the engineering world is that you have to like eat, sleep, breathe, like
code.
It's like that's not. I don't think you have to do that. Like some people love it and extremely passionate about it. I'm passionate about it myself and I do love it, but not everybody has to fall into that box to be a good engineer. Like just like enjoy life, you know?
Yeah. I think one of the skills I've learned very early on is like when I was like in college and I'd be working on like side projects and dumb stuff that nobody cared about. I'd be stuck on it and I'd be like, I'm trying to figure this out, and I'd be like trying harder and harder, and then I'd rage quit and I'd walk away, and then I'd come back and it'd be something so stupidly simple. And like you could have just short wired the whole like getting angry and just walked away and came back with a fresh mind. And that only really happens when we do what you're saying, which is to take a break and stop thinking about that one specific thing. Yeah,
just being able to unwind and have good, I think friends are an important thing. Having good friends that can really help you tap out. Like my friends were over last night, and just having them over, you're just able to like tap out of certain things and just enjoy your time, you know? It's nice.
I guess that's what I mean. I think I need to like rephrase that question, because every time I ask that question, people give me general vague stuff, and I mean specific stuff like that, like knowing how to walk away, or like the ability to unplug. Like that's really what I'm looking for. Like what are the little keys that people are doing that make them a really better engineer that they had to learn over time? You know, like
I think
I don't want to learn. Let me just learn from what you did.
And then also learning that I think a constant reminder we have to have for ourselves is how young we are. Of course you should be aggressive in your career in your 20s and your 30s. It's like your 20s to 30s, like that's career projection right there. You'll see where you're gonna end up. for the most part, and just like being like, okay, I'm really young. Let me take a day and just do something a young person wants to do. Like, you have to think in this mindset that like, oh my god, everything is so hard. Like, everything is hard, but just we're young.
Have you always been this chill or understanding of that, or is this something?
No, I haven't. I'm still like, I say these things, but I'm not fully to terms with it. Like, I have to say these things to myself too. Like, tomorrow I'll probably have to tell myself these things. I don't like, I'm not, when I say these things, it's a lot of what I'm trying to instill. Like, you know,
it's top of mind for you because you're constantly telling this to yourself.
Yeah,
completely
that's
understand.
why I love talking about it. So it's nice to actually be able to have a conversation about it. It's important.
Would you say most of your friends are in engineering or broader things?
Your friends. I would say I love my friends. I have the coolest friends. So one of them is animations, which is really cool, like the Nickelodeon.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, it cut out
animations.
For me. Very cool.
Animations. Yeah, sick. Pre-med, engineers. One of them is in like law. It's all over the place, so it's really cool. That. Accounting. Yeah, a little bit of everything. It's actually pretty cool because you learn a lot for yourself that you wouldn't know. Like, I learned a cheaper way to do my taxes.
Oh, cool. So it's tax season. I haven't started mine, but I'm very nervous.
There's a website, like, I used to use TurboTax, and then I found this website. Did I say that on the podcast? I don't know.
If it's not legal, like, I guess that'd be fine.
Yeah, it's like Free Tax USA or something. It's like, taxes are free basically, but we always gotta pay for them. But I learned it's free, so I pay like $20, which is basically free. Oh,
I forgot what podcast it was, but I've also heard that like taxes are supposed to be done for free. Like by law, like they made a deal. The government and like the industry made a deal that it's supposed to be done by law, so you're not supposed to pay for it, but you just end up paying for professionals.
There's a huge like lobbying campaign because I had a friend that went to school in Jersey, and they actually teach you how to do your taxes in high school. I think Jersey is like the best school district in America. So he knew how to do his taxes. I'm like, we didn't learn this here. And people who told me about the free, he's like, yeah, bro, you're not supposed to pay for this. I'm like, what?
Yo, shout out to Jersey. +1 for you guys.
Exactly.
Doing something right.
Yeah, New York got to catch up, man.
Yeah, remembering that we're still young and there's a lot for us to learn and grow. I might have mentioned this previously on a podcast too, but one of my things has been that I've noticed is that I went to a hard project, like I wanted to go to something difficult, and then 2 weeks in I'm like, why is this so difficult? What, like as if like I'm assuming it's supposed to be easy even though I went through a hard project. And I think that's something I didn't really do. It was just like reminding myself, like, like, relax. You just graduated. You've never done this before. Like, why are you so one, in a rush, and two, like you feel like almost entitled to like mastery? Like it's
honestly a lot to do with our field. I feel like a lot of people are preach that, or they think that's how it's supposed to be. That's something I thought too. I had the same feeling, like, where we all think we have to know everything because you're surrounded by really, really smart people. Extremely smart people.
Extremely smart and fast.
Like,
do these people sleep?
Yeah, exactly. Then you naturally compare yourself and you start to get down on yourself and like, damn, I should know this. And then that's when you spiral. At least I'm speaking from my own experience. That's when I spiral, and then you learn I need to chill. Like, I could have got this done an hour ago if I just chilled and like looked at it with a fresh pair of eyes. Like you said, you would work on a side project, leave it when something got hard, and then go back and like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought. Yeah. So it's a lot of that. It's just like, it's all there. It's all on the internet how to do what you got to do. But if you could slow down and learn how to do it, everything is there. Like, it's just
nothing is like impossible when it comes to the tasks we get. Like, somebody has done it. There's documentation. There's an example. There's code references. Worst case, you read line by line what the code does, and you can figure it out.
Worst case, you just ask for help. Like,
ask for help. That's even better. Don't spend hours going through thousands of lines. Don't waste a day. Something that I also had to tell myself is that to be the best engineer means to be productive and fast and not to waste your company's time. You know, like, brushing your own ego, or like taking care of your own ego by looking line by line. Okay, like you don't know something. Ask, like, what's the problem? Instead of wasting time.
Yeah, you're wasting your time, wasting the company's time, like you said, and just,
Not a feel-good thing. You don't feel good when you're stuck on a problem for a whole day.
Exactly. And then, like, I moved into the crypto field, and a lot of things are new to everybody. This is a new and emerging field, so it's like, that's awkward. A lot of things you don't know. At least for me, it's like
awkward.
Yeah, I never saw this before, but I'm like, oh, this is brand new. So a lot of people haven't seen this before.
Nobody knows what we're doing here.
Yeah, a lot of people do know, but it's just like, I'm learning from you now. Those guys have the directions.
Tell us why you changed into the crypto field.
I wanted to work in something I was passionate about. And that's something I became passionate about just through talking to my friends about it, getting involved with it, too, like buying, looking into protocols, buying coins and stuff like that. Just naturally get into it. It's like, all right, why not work here? And why not like dive even deeper? Because I feel like your work gets easier if you really actually enjoy work. Because at the end of the day, work is work. But if you actually enjoy what you're learning and it's like, oh, this can actually benefit me personally. Like, it can benefit you personally just by learning and how the market works. Like, I don't know. Not like in a... You get what I mean. Just like learning more about the field.
Yeah.
Nice. Lifelong skills.
Tell us how... Walk us through the... like, oh, this is a new thing. And, oh my God, I would love to work here. What was that journey like for you?
Mm-hmm. So when I was at the bank, I was thinking to myself, I was like, all right, finance is cool, but I don't know if I'm completely into this. Like, completely into the whole trading on the finance, like the traditional finance side. And I was like, all right, so I took a step back. I was like, what am I into? I was into like the social media aspect of things, but more for the psychology behind it rather than the engineering behind it. So I was like, I don't know if I would enjoy that. And then I started looking into what I was doing on a daily basis. And a big topic of conversation was video games and cryptocurrency. So I was like, cryptocurrency seems more realistic for me. And it's more like the future. So I was like, I want to work on something and be like a pioneer in an industry that is fairly new. It's not new, but at least 10 years old, and be able to contribute and try and master some of it. I think it's important in our career to have an idea of what we want to master, whether it's people skills, a technical skill, or anything. There's endless options. But for me, that's what it was.
You said it was between video games and cryptocurrency because those were things that you were involved in on a daily basis. What were you exactly doing with crypto at the time? How were you involved with it?
It was more big on Ethereum, trying to learn a lot about Ethereum. I had a few friends that started working at other crypto companies. So, like, speaking about some of the projects he's working on, or they were working on in general, and as well as trying to, like, for me, I wanted to invest in it and be able to, like, just early on, I saw a lot of potential when it came to Ethereum. Specifically, that's what I was more, like, keyed in on. And then the field kind of just, like, naturally started to form around me with all my friends getting into it. So I was like, I might as well work here. Why wouldn't I?
So you were learning the technologies through different people, like talks and companies and stuff, but you were also financially investing in them and technically learning, like, how does the blockchain and all this stuff work? Yeah.
And I learned, like, with anything, the more you know about it, the easier it is to understand it. So when it came to the market moving some days, which I'm not, like, into trading or anything like that. That's not me. I like to actually believe in it. So I was like, let me, like, invest and actually hold on to this. And
value investing.
See all the projects. Yeah. Like, I actually saw the value in it. So I still do see the value in it, despite, like, fluctuations in price and all that type of stuff. It's still a very valuable thing.
One thing I've had to learn recently is that there's multiple blockchains. Ethereum is one of them.
Yeah.
How did you choose this one? Why was Ethereum the one that stood out to you?
There's going to be very smart crypto people out there that may listen to this and not agree with me, but I look at Ethereum, I look at Bitcoin like gold and Ethereum like steel, and we use steel to build a lot of buildings.
Oh, God, that's a beautiful analogy.
Yeah, and Ethereum is basically the infrastructure for the future buildings that we'll have in a virtual world. Like when you have, like, your sandbox, these are all, like, ERC20 tokens, which is built on, like, the Ethereum virtual machine. So if it's kind of, think about, like, Ethereum as AWS, but for Web3. everything's built on AWS nowadays, or Azure, like the cloud infrastructure. Now Ethereum is another layer, or Ethereum is a futuristic layer.
What are some
That's just one, of
applications
course.
of Ethereum that you think are interesting?
Like I said, I don't quote me. I'm pretty sure Sandbox is an ERC20 token. So that whole metaverse, which is very broad field, not company specific.
Yeah, hell
seeing
yeah.
that a lot of it's built on the Ethereum network, and a lot of layer 2 options that are built on the Ethereum network to deal with the gas fees and stuff of that sort. I think that's very important.
How would you describe the difference, or quickly summarize the difference between Web 2 and Web 3?
Web 2 and Web 3, I know everybody's tired of hearing this word, but decentralization. So having things in a private aspect, and although it's not really private because everything's on the blockchain, but not having to go to somebody to host your things. For example, what's going on in Russia right now, where Visa was able to shut off their network in Russia. And of course, I don't agree with what's going on there with the whole Ukrainian situation, but if you have crypto, or if you're using crypto heavily, you don't have to depend on a Visa or a MasterCard to get a transaction through, and you just use the network. And that's something Ethereum is very confident in.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's no winners in what's happening in Russia and Ukraine right now, and it's not a good thing. Excuse me.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Because I mean, Putin is all for war, but Russian people are now suffering. Engineers who are there, normal people, and the whole world is sanctioning them as they should be.
Maybe something technology can help with one day. I don't think technology is the answer for everything. I don't think that, because there's there's still people at the end of the day, and we're not technology. But hopefully it can bring us a step forward with all the power that it has and money that it has as well.
Yeah. Usually I ask what's something you're excited about, but I think for you it's probably cryptocurrencies and the future of Web3.
Mm-hmm.
Have you bought an NFT, by the way?
I have not bought an NFT because I never understand which NFT is going to be good. So
what do you mean by good? Like to upsell?
I never know what's valuable. I don't know how to tell what's valuable. But
yeah. I feel like NFT and cryptocurrencies has gotten a hold over my timeline. Yeah. Well, now it's more like Ukraine and other political other wars too. But yeah, at one point NFT was something I could not escape no matter how hard I tried.
Yeah, it's tough. It's everywhere.
You're also on Twitter. Have you gotten into the tech Twitter sphere, or do you usually just hang out in your place?
I actually love it. I love it. Love the tech Twitter stuff because it's a way to see people with the personality side of things. So, what are
some of your favorite Twitter people?
Probably, I'm an Ethereum fanboy at this point. Vitalik Buterin.
Okay.
Yeah,
understood. I should have seen that coming.
It's funny to see, and it's nice to see it as well.
Are you reading anything at the moment?
I recently finished reading. I didn't get the name of it for you. Hold on.
Also, Vitalik has this thing on his bio, and something he mentioned in one podcast I was listening to. Have you ever read that? Something about the dragon?
I haven't.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I've been reading for a while. It's called Conversation with the Devil. Oh. And
interesting.
Yeah, and it's about this guy. I don't remember Napoleon Hill actually wrote it, and he goes through some points in life where he's just not happy with anything that's going on. So I think he starts hallucinating in a sense. And he just has a conversation with the devil, in a sense, and he's talking about all the different things that we take on in life. I want you to read it, so I'm not going to say too much about it, but my mom keeps on calling me. She keeps on calling me. Yeah, that's a great movie. I mean, a great book. You should try reading that.
Okay, I'm down. It's definitely very philosophical and up there, but I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
You actually mentioned something about habits recently, and I've been reading The Atomic Habit. And
that's what I want to read next.
you should. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Just first chapter was so good. I feel like I paused. I was okay. I want to like actually implement this stuff before I go in and read it again, because there's just like chock full of really good stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, and I've also been like trying to build habits lately. And one of the things you mentioned that I really liked is kind of redefining success. And if your goal is to run 3 miles, even if you ran 0.3 one day, being like, that's good. That's my habit building up. And yeah, when you said that, I was like thinking about the book, and that you'd probably love it.
I'll definitely try that one out.
What's the last thing you learned?
The last thing I learned? I recently learned Terraform.
Oh.
Terraform, which is AWS stuff.
Nice.
Recently learned that. I need someone at my door. Yeah, recently.
It's okay, we're at 58 minutes, and this would actually be these are like the rapid fire questions. So.
Okay, cool.
Last question, if you had one advice for the Jonathan Raysor who just graduated and are about to enter the industry, what would it be?
Slow down and enjoy your time.
I love that.
I will keep on preaching that, and side projects, but slow down.
And side projects. Slow down, but also side projects.
Yeah.
Jonathan, it was absolutely amazing. Thank you for taking the time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you.
And that's our conversation. Why do I say R? There's no R. That was the conversation Jonathan and I had. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it a like. Make sure you comment, and stay subscribed on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, because YouTube, I will not be putting like the podcast up there. I might put other stuff up, but definitely not the podcast. That's it. Have a lovely day. Enjoy your week. Have a great month. I'll see you next month.